Thank you. Thank you. So I think Alan will go to questions. Yeah. Yeah. If we can invite the four speakers up, please, and we'll bombard them with a load of fantastic questions so that everybody has it. Mike?
Yeah. Should I start
Okay. Yeah, please do that. Head on that, please. Okay, we'll go first. 2 other questions. Don't be shy.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Anmol and I'm from KSM Construction Consultants. I have a question for Jacob. So firstly, congratulations on the innovation that you have achieved at Keynes, and thanks for sharing it with some insightful information with all of us. My question has 3 parts. You refer to a defined set of key items and models for the standard cellular units that you use at Keynes, and this has been achieved through years of study and analysis. From your perspective, what were the key highlights of this optimization journey in terms of statutory and regulatory compliance, procurement and supply chain management, overall design performance, and feedback from customers and investors or financiers? From these areas, which do you feel was the biggest challenge in terms of navigating? Was it statutory, procurement, customer feedback, or overall design performance? This is the first question.
Okay, I'll answer the first one. Great question, Keith. So I think for us, it's a mixture pretty much of everything. When we look at, say, one element, the kit parts and components, it has so many layers to it. So obviously there's a supply chain procurement. You need to look at compliance of the products with the regulations. It's so many things. It's performance for the construction process. It's carbon footprint. You have to look at site deliveries for every component. Logistically, doesn't make sense. Doesn't increase the program. It doesn't increase or decrease the program. So you really have to look at every single product from all of those perspectives. And so I mentioned there that we have our innovation center on the site. So what an innovation center is, I don't think they explained it properly. It's essentially really a building on one of our sites where we have samples of various products that we are currently testing before we introduce them on our construction sites. And we are testing different parts of those products. So we obviously have them on site. We test it from weathering conditions and so forth. But at the same time, we are checking the procurement, supply chain, the logistics, and so on. So once something makes sense for us from a business perspective, delivers a value and critically delivers a better product for our customers, then we can produce it from site. But we need to make sure it's all tested from all these perspectives. So there's no straight answer to it. This part of the process was the most challenging. It's collective. Every single part of the process posed a bit of a challenge. And obviously, one of the things, there's 7 levels of risk when you introduce a new material on site, for instance. You don't really know how it's going to perform in the next 5 years. So there's that level of risk when we need to make sure that we choose the products that are already compliant but have been tested and checked.
Right. Thank you for that. The other question that I have is, did you encounter, it is in relation to the first question, did you encounter any specific procurement and supply chain difficulties, like in sourcing and also consolidating this into the model? So, I mean, it's kind of tricky because when we are looking for a standardized item, it also becomes sort of bespoke from a procurement point of view.
I mean, definitely from a procurement point of view, there were challenges and there were certain sacrifices that need to be made. But bluntly, I'm not a specialist in procurement in our business, so I wouldn't be able to provide you with a solid answer here. But I can take that away and I can touch base with you later and talk to our procurement team.
And the last question is, what elements do you consider as the most critical in driving further innovations? Like
collaboration. Okay. I think if I've seen it before. If you work in a silo, you're not really going to get far. Because if you work in a silo, you're just relying on those few people that are in your team or in your business. But once you start going out there and you start getting traction, you start getting understanding different perspectives, you grasp different ideas. Like even at this event here, right? Like half of the things you presented, like, I didn't know that some of them exist even. And it's definitely something I'm going to investigate further after this presentation, the practical uses of AI in day-to-day work. Brilliant. And then, the practical use cases of habit or building your efficient design as well. So collaboration, I would say, definitely.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Anybody else? I think you see the margin there, Jacob. That was very kind, everybody. Thank you.
I think you have a question for Bruno. We have a requirement to count the embodied carbon in buildings, and ideally we'd like to upload a good model and we'll tell you what the embodied carbon is. Is that possible with cloud?
Well, the thing with AI agents, what I was trying to explain, I think I didn't explain it properly, I was a bit rushed, but so the interesting thing is this kind of tool is called MCP. So it's basically like underlying tool that enables LLMs like Chat, GPT, or Claude, or Llama to interact with software, right? So they can control software on your behalf. So if you get an MCP that ties in energy software modeling program with Claude, you can definitely use Claude to help you find the best solution. So it's like a PDF for, like a PDF format for LLMs is MCP. So it will allow you to tell any large language model to do things with different software for you. So I'm not sure if that's answering your question, but what I'm trying to say is Claude itself won't be able to do it, but if Claude can control different pieces of software that do energy modeling for you, I'm sure you can.
And do you have anything that might do that job for us?
The carbon analysis? I never did, but we got a kind of question from our sustainability team, how they could use that more efficient. At the beginning, they just want to know if they want to query the model in terms of parameters, materials, quantities. There are solutions available for that already, so you can chat to the model, because that's, if you search on Google, you're going to find something like that. We haven't implemented yet because the data sensitivity. We can't disclose our clients' models through AI. But we are also studying another way to do that. We have a local model. Nowadays you can download open source model and install on your local machine, and your data won't go away. And then you can, now I can use AI. So yeah, it's possible to do with what we did, but then locally some have these issues.
Thank you.
Sorry, we did a bit of a testing with that actually. What we didn't do it with the model, but we did it with the data set of materials that the model is built of. And so, from our experience, where AI, Claude, or ChatGPT can help you with is, let's say you're building a system of 500 different materials that you need EPDs for. Instead of searching for them manually, you can employ Claude or ChatGPT to find those EPD values for you in this build set. So, if you do have a data set like this from the model, then yes, you could do something like this.
Yes.
I think Autodesk has a tool for embodied carbon that is being tested. You might be able to get a early release if you ask them.
What was the name again?
I think it's tied to Insights. I think it's called Insights. And within Insights there was a embodied carbon database, but I'm not sure if it's live.
And I think that's the key. AI is not voodoo. It doesn't magic it up. It needs data. So if you have the data, as the guys have said, then Claude and everything can help you. Any other questions? Oh. I think this gentleman and then the gentleman behind and then Alan.
My name is Shubham and I'm working as a data scientist with Startup Digital. So my question is to Bruno. So basically the problem is, sometime back I was trying to do a POC and the main problem is AI and LLM models is hallucination. So how are you, because like you are I think directly integrating the plot or the agents with whatever exists. So how are you, managing the hallucination part? Because that is the most alarming thing that I see. Like, you can't afford actually.
No, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. The newer LLMs, they're being released. You get updates every 3 months, every 4 months. What I have seen is that they are getting very good at checking themselves. So they will provide an answer, and if you check that video that I posted on Claude itself, like I asked Claude to check for curtain walls, and there were no curtain walls on the 3D view because they were hidden. And Claude itself checked, the curtain walls are not visible in this view. Let me check if there are any curtain walls in the family browser. And then it did the family browser thing and eventually found the curtain walls. So the models are becoming more and more proficient in checking themselves. And before they give a final answer, even DeepSeek, if you've heard of DeepSeek, it also, like, the reasoning of DeepSeek checks its answers against actual data that is current. So, and it corrects whatever answer it was going to give you. And you can see the thinking on as it's producing an answer. So that will help. I think that will enable you. And I also, ChatGPT recently started posting a button at the bottom of the prompt saying, think harder. So if you click there, it checks answers against data. So it's just going to evolve at a rapid pace. So I'm pretty sure you can force the LLMs to check themselves.
I just want to ask you whether, do you think, like, if we make the model specific or say fine-tuned on us, on the information, like the knowledge base which it is working on, do you think it is better, or should we rely on the generalization that these companies, because these models are like billions of parameters, they're dealing with like 150 billion parameters. You don't have control towards any of those. So do you think it is better to create domain-specific models, or do you think we should rely on the generalizability?
No, definitely. Like the domain-specific models are cheaper to run as well, and they get the answers that you need. So I think companies in the coming months they're gonna need a position. There's gonna be a new position in companies called like a fine-tuning guy, or I don't know what the name would be, but there will be a person employed to adapt the generic models to whatever the enterprise needs, right? And it's going to be adapting models all the time, and that's going to be a new position that's going to open, because it's more cheaper to run, you get the answers that you need, and you can also have the guardrails to not give hallucinations or don't give wrong answers. That may be done, like in the company I work for, we're testing a BIM support agent, right? So it's an LLM that's trained with the standards of the company. So so if people ask, I need the drawing numbers for this apartment block that has these characteristics, you don't want to give the drawing numbers according to the US or according to the UK. You need the drawing numbers according to the Irish market with our standards, right? So that's basically fine-tuning the model and just running it locally. Yeah.
Thank you.
First, thank you all for the presentations. It was great. I'm here today as a data science student, post-graduation student, but I work for Johnson & Son as a senior document controller. And I have two questions. The first one is for Rubens. As working as a senior document controller and going through drawings every day, I know how much time it takes for us to to do that. So my question will be, do you know how long did it take to achieve this solution? And after implementing it, how much time is saved you now?
I'm not a cloud controller, so I'm a digital project manager. It's kind of big manager plus project manager. And this issue with exact documents, it was because we have all those deliverables, and then before we were doing the spot checks. When I start doing, and I feel that pain, oh, I can't do that, it's a lot. So we must have a better way. So it took, say, month and a half, because at the beginning, actually, I started on Dynamo. And then I got a Python library to read PDFs, and was reading okay, but some of the consultants, they were printing from AutoCAD, and then the data was messed up in the PDFs. That's when we went to DCW, London, and then I got in contact with Bluebeam, and then I saw the OCR, and then we implemented and got the streamline. So just to have an idea, one project I issued last week took me, like, in between my other attributions, it took me 2 days to check. And then I sent to a client. The client, they have a dot controller. I don't know if they're using some kind of automation or not, but it seems not. They are 3 weeks, and they haven't finished what I checked in 2 days, doing my other things.
That's great, thank you. And the question will be to Jacob, please. So as you were able to standardize your design with the various components or elements you used to do the house, have you also managed to, or plan to manage, standardizing the handover documentation that comes into play with each single aspect of the construction site that was standardized?
I think that's the extension of it. We're obviously already for various clients, we're handing over the documentation, but I think once we moved with full-scale implementation of the toolkit, we have our standardized drawings across all schemes, that will naturally follow.
Thank you.
I have a question. So I work for Acorn, so it's one of the drawing sets. So what's going to happen with companies like Acorn or Mola or Cody that are producing drawings? Will the digital design toolkit replace those drawings for them or follow? So the way we approach this is the design produced with the toolkits, with the automation part, is not full design. It's the baseline design that follows our standardization. And then another element is our site-specific design. And when I say site-specific, it's not the environment of the site, but it's also the house itself. So for instance, the toolkit, it wouldn't produce the details, right? The toolkit produces the standard set of drawings and model that is the most crucial to build a house. So your floor plans, elevations, sections, your ceiling plans, and so on. And it really shows how exactly to build a house, but it doesn't automate everything. And so what we want to happen is architects to focus and engineers to focus on the site-specific design, because the baseline design for the repetitive element of the house is already in there. Yeah, and that's going to be on a current type of problem.
Yes, so we want to just referring to your question as well, we want to make sure that the drawings that we release on site and the drawings that we deliver to the clients, they are always the same, so that if we build 50 apartments for a specific client or 100 houses, the deliverable is always the same. And that's also a win for our aftercare team, who they need to check something in the aftercare phase for the client. They always look at the same information.
So you can wrap up with Alan.
Yeah, it's very clear. Thank you, Claire. Just to say to Bruno and Jacob and to Rubens and Peter, who did a fantastic job. It worked out, despite the few technical issues we had, this whole idea of design, construction, FM fantastic, really, really nice. Big message I got from today was you can do a lot within your business to innovate in the design phase without AI. But today, AI 2025, the word assistant came up a lot. You know, they're beside you to assist you in your role. But I think as we move forward, 5 to 10 years from now, it's going to be transformational what's going to happen. I know my profession, quality is going to change significantly, but I just think you did a fantastic job. And Claire, also for chairing this morning, did a great job. And to all the team, the patience they showed when you had those technical breakdowns, it just shows that you're a great team in CitA. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I second that. Thank you all so much. And remember, if you need Peter's report, Alan has that available to him for everybody. Is that right, Peter? Yeah, your report. Yeah, and like Alan said, and thank you all so much. We all know the depressing chart of construction has been flatlining in terms of productivity for centuries. I think now these kernels of enthusiasm and putting business value ahead of everything else, because everything we've heard here today is around driving business, driving productivity, making things faster, cheaper, more standardized, so less risk. All of these brilliant things, and they are backed up by technology. I've seen the graphic of the tandem before. It's a brilliant graphic around how AI sits in the back seat. It's not in the front seat, it's in the back seat. It's your assistant. So you wouldn't have a team of people and you wouldn't say, okay, on you go, there's the keys to everything, you're a graduate, but I trust you. You sort it out, sort the company out. It doesn't happen, right? There's management structures in place. So there are 2 types of people. I learned this last week. 2 types of people. There'll be an AI outsourcer and there'll be an AI manager. An AI outsourcer asks a question, cuts and pastes, walks away. An AI manager asks a question, challenges the question, manages the question, understands the output, then drives the delivery from there. We all want to be AI managers, not outsourcers. Okay. Thank you.
Can I wrap things up very quickly? Just conscious of the time, we ran over, so sorry about that. Fantastic turnout this morning, thank you so much. Just to remind you all, CitA do 3 things: training, research, special events. So training, CitA SkillNet, managed by Daria there, fantastic project. We broke all the records last year. Just remind all businesses here, we should look at 80% funding with some of the training programs we have. We went through due process in regards to procurement. We're now ready and willing to deliver what the members have asked us to do. It's industry-level training, it's access to expertise with very, very flexible options. Here are just 2 examples of programs that are now available to you. And just like AI, we're learning, we have to constantly learn, don't we? So this project, CitA SkillNet, and in fairness, CitA SkillNet, Construction 4.0, and other networks in construction, we need to leverage these solutions. And again, it's business focused and it supports business, so we need to look at that. And can I just make an appeal to you all here? If you haven't joined the Alliance already, you should do so. This is the quality of the events that we deliver to you and the SkillNet training that we do. We've also got a new project, NNC Accelerate. I can see in the future massive adoption of NNC. Massive adoption of NNC is going to happen into the future. But this gathering is a 7th iteration. It's in Dublin. It's on the 6th of November. It's very much a celebration of the Alliance 25 years. Started in Bolton Street over a cup of coffee. I think it was 2019. And here we are today, 25 years later, still relevant. So this is a celebration of 25 years of our journey through digitalization, but also look forward to the next 25 years. So if you go on to bingathering.ie, you'll see a call for papers. Click the link, put in up to 50 words, your name, your affiliation, press the send button. And that means we can speak and contribute to this conference that will take place in November this year. The closing date is Friday. We may well extend it, but we'd like to get 20, 30, 40, 50 submissions from you, from architects, from engineers, from surveyors, from clients, from FM people, and really so think of the gathering as a kind of a celebration of what we've achieved, driving change in Irish construction, so please support the event, please put in your submissions, ideally by Friday, if you can. Next event, Claire, thank you so much for stepping in at such short notice. Next event, we haven't got a date just yet. It looks like it'll be early May, but we have to confirm the date and the venue. We're going to be very much looking at project management, cost, time management, and then we move on to MNC, and then we move on to sustainability, and then back to AI, and then the gathering. So can I just thank again Bruno, Jacob, Rubens, Sean, fantastic, Peter Bigman, fantastic presentation, and for Claire, and for all of you coming. I was a bit worried about 9:25, but then at 9:30, the room just filled up. And to the CitA team, what can I say? Fantastic backup support as always, and I'm always very proud to be involved with the line. Thank you so much.